Hey, my name is Wendy Bird, and I am mother of 5, Nana to 6 right now, and I'm a social impactor, and I love hiking, biking, dancing, anything in the water, and probably more than anything else, I'm purpose-driven, pro-humanity, and I'm a featured author for The Great Human Connection. What role has been most important to me during the recent COVID pandemic is comprised of taking what I know as a humanitarian, what I know as a mom, what I know as a friend, and what I know my community needs, because I do a lot of volunteering within the community as well, and enrolling that all into one big lump of how can I best serve those around me and show up as my best self. And so that then becomes the role of role modeling to them those ideals and character traits and habits that will help me to endure what we're in the middle of. I don't think there's one fix-all answer to the pandemic. I think it's going to be every individual showing up with the best within them in that moment, because everybody's going to ebb and flow with cracks and gaps and bruises, and some might need stitches, and realize, oh my gosh, I'm not functioning. And then they just need to take a beat and then rebuild themselves and step back into the arena ready for the fight, because we're not through it yet, and there's a lot more that's going to have to be processed. So if we can step into an ideal of role modeling as our best selves when we can be our best selves, I think that's the best way to show up. So I think the question in my mind every night before I go to sleep is, have I done enough? Have I helped the person the way they needed to be helped? Working in developing countries was definitely not my plan. As a mom of 5 kids, when I started, all my kids were under the age of 12. And I really had no idea. There's a saying that says the piano of purpose isn't going to fall out of the window and land on your head. But in my life, that's exactly what happened. I sent out an email request trying to find loose pearls because I was a certified gemologist, and I wanted to just make jewelry and make some money on the side at a park, doing like a street fair type style. And all of a sudden, I get this email from a woman who says, if you import finished pieces from us rather than loose pearls, you'll change women's lives in my country. And it was like, what do you do with this? And for me, what I chose to do with it was say, well, how could we make this work? And that has become what Pearls with Purpose is today. And it's changed my life. Everybody says, oh, you're changing lives. No, my life is changed. I have been able to walk with the poorest of the poor. I have been able to see smiles from women that come from the depths of their soul as they realize there is something different that can happen for them in their life that doesn't have to be poverty, sex abuse, prostitution, like anything that they are used to as their norm doesn't have to be that way anymore. And so for me, I question every day, how could this be better? Am I really making a difference? And there's been 2 different incidences where I was actually able to feel that it was worth it. The first one happened in the Philippines, probably about a decade ago. And I was in a bathroom and a woman came in, she didn't speak good English, and she just started mumbling about her sister. And I was trying to grasp like what she was trying to say, if she needed help. And what came out was her sister was one of our workers that we had trained about 8 years earlier. She was one of the first workers we started training. And she ended up just saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. And she was crying. And she says, my sister is saved because of you. And I just realized like, wow, okay, this is worth it. And then last year I was able to go to the Philippines. So both incidences happened there. And all these youth were coming up to me, like young adult, like in their 20s, 25s. And I couldn't recognize their names. Like I knew them, but I didn't know how or why. And I'm like, tell me your name again. Because I was like, did I train them? Were they on our scholarship program for school? And it was, oh, I'm Jonathan. I'm Nanette's son. And because of you, I went to college. because you trained my mom, or because of you, we built a house and we live closer to Manila, or because you took time to teach my mom, now I'm married, I have a kid, and my husband is a good man. And all of a sudden my mind was just going, holy cow, this is a generation. This is when you have that light bulb moment of, okay, it didn't feel like it was worth it when I was going through it. And I had to go through like business know-how to business clueless and, embezzlements and am I setting this up right? But all of a sudden that human connection of this individual's life pivoted in a positive way because of their mom, then I knew it had been worth it. Addiction has been prevalent throughout everyone in my family. I'm adopted. I found my birth parents over 15 years ago. My birth dad, his whole side of the family, struggles with alcoholism. My birth mom definitely went through some drug abuse and various addictions. I'm so grateful I was adopted. And then within just my immediate family, all of my kids have struggled with addictions and depression and mental illness and anxiety. And I have seen addiction rob individuals of who they could really be. I feel a lot of gratitude and extreme humility that despite what my DNA should dictate, I have not necessarily turned towards addiction for solving my life's problems, but I'm also probably hyper aware that I don't want to touch a drink of alcohol. I don't want to start smoking a cigarette because I don't want that addictive gene to be activated. And so it's definitely an impact that is very personal and just causes a lot of reflection and probably turns me a little harder away from those things that would cause addiction in my own life. I absolutely love the idea of the great human connection because one of my taglines is pro-humanity. I feel so much joy. I just get so excited. I feel like the great human connection is the answer to what human beings are missing. We are internally wired in our DNA, psychologically proven, to strive towards society, social cues, and connection. And we've forgotten that. We've started looking at people like, oh, you're this color, you're this stereotype, you work here, you go to school here, so therefore you are this person. We profile each other all the time, and then we judge. And that is just robbing us of getting to know who an individual really is at their core. Because the reality is we're all part of the human race, and the human race is so amazing, and we're driven to connect. I would hope that anyone who is struggling, anybody who is living life not how they feel it should be lived, there's only two stories of human nature. It's the story of progress and growth or the story of failure. And those two stories have been throughout all generations of time, and that's it. And so we're either living within our success and our progress and our power, or we're living in the victim, the battle, the struggle. So it's not necessarily a specific person that I want to be touched so much as an individual who feels hopeless or an individual who doesn't have hope anymore and is battling that perspective of life isn't worth it.